Today we're going to talk about how shit this bull market is and what my thoughts are regarding the fact that Bitcoin is above 100k, but altcoins look like they want to go into another bear market, even though we just got out of one 3 months ago. This video is going to be quite different to my usual ones. I'm just going to speak my mind to you as if I was speaking to one of my own friends in real life. Before we start, nothing here is financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor. So let me just get straight into it. I need to address this video that I made a few days ago. A lot of people missed the key point I was trying to make. I used the keyword broad in this title, and that word is really important because by broad, I mean that not every sector is going to get pumps where the gains are likely to be significant. Like normal large caps on centralized exchanges likely 120x. And the reasons I gave for that was because of how the money that goes into Bitcoin is kept within Bitcoin because of the ETFs and isn't flowing into altcoins, which is actually a very valid factor. But the other point I gave is the fact that there's so many altcoins now and that money is spread amongst them. Now, since I made this video, I'm seeing sentiment being taken to the absolute extreme and it's getting ridiculous. People are saying there's millions of tokens now, and that's why it's too hard for altcoins to pump. And it's also why we're never going to have a proper alt season again. They're also saying stuff like, oh, you should just give up because you'll never find the right coin amongst all of these. But remember how I told you in the last video that other people will program you to think of crypto as too hard to make you give up? This is exactly what I meant. But if you actually look 2 minutes beyond the surface, you'll realize that most of those millions of coins are completely irrelevant anyway. And the real number of actual tokens is a lot less. So the idea that there's a billion coins now and no altcoin can ever pump again is just an example of people taking an idea and then taking it to the complete extreme. Yes, there are a lot of altcoins now, but it's nowhere near this bad. The point I'm trying to make is the sentiment is getting extremely bad towards altcoins, especially when you combine it with the current price action. The narrative that we won't get an alt season is starting to get really popular. But I just want to be clear for the record, I 100% believe that we'll get an alt season this year. You'll be able to make good money across many altcoins. But I don't think the older coins that everyone's already heard of will have the power to give like a 10 to 20x. And the biggest pumps in the 2025 alt season will only take place in a few specific narratives. So basically all I was trying to say was, yes, alt season will come, but it won't be broad. And the biggest gains will likely be concentrated in a few sectors. And altcoin selection will be more important than ever, which is this market even worth investing in anymore? For regular people who don't want to worry about every new rotation that comes out, they just want to buy and hold and take a few multiple X's. But before I answer that, I'm going to go through the market to give you a real understanding of how bad things are. Because to me, what I'm feeling is, this is one of the most confusing periods for altcoins we've ever been through. And I'm fully aware that 2018 and 2022 bear markets were really bad in terms of how much destruction there was. But I'm talking contextually. Bitcoin is above 100k and altcoins literally look like they want to go into a mini bear market. First of all, right off the bat, this chart is no longer useful to us, in my opinion, this altcoin index. According to this index, coins are only down on average around 30%. But we know that's not true. The truth is, this chart and the index, the market cap is being inflated by the Trump memecoin and other various different new launches. And the reality is, the majority of altcoins are in two separate baskets. The strong ones are above their pre-election prices and the weak ones have broken well below their pre-election prices. And by pre-election, I mean the prices just before Trump won. So people have taken all this risk in altcoins. But in terms of coin pricing and their Bitcoin pairs, almost every altcoin has given back most of its gain towards Bitcoin. So people have taken on all this risk and not being compensated for it if they didn't take profits. But just contextually, let's think about what the average altcoin holder has been through using the Bitcoin chart. So the March 2024 alt season wasn't even that good. Most people were kind of happy, but no one was really euphoric. After that, we got gifted 200 days of choppy downtrend where altcoins went down minus 60 to minus 80%. Make no mistake, even though it was quite some time ago, this was a difficult time to go through and there was a lot of pain involved here. We then got Trump winning, which caused a big rally, but not big enough for people to start seriously considering taking profit and exiting the cycle. For example, Bonk, this was one of the best performers on centralized exchanges. It did like a 3.8 5x. At this point, when Bonk reached its top, there was no indication that the market was topping. At that point, the altcoin index hadn't even broken past its March 2024 high. Anyways, in December, we got 2 massive nukes, and since then, the price action has been abysmal. In January, just when it felt like the market was going to recover and altcoins were doing well, Trump releases his Memecoin, which becomes a massive liquidity black hole and devastates the rest of the altcoin market. I believe the real after effects of this token are just showing up now. A lot of the liquidity that left altcoins to chase the Trump Memecoin didn't go back into those altcoins. It's still stuck in these Trump and Melania coins. And of course, a lot of that money has simply been cashed out by the insiders of these coins. Not only that, I'm pretty sure these altcoins definitely spooked the market a bit. I personally made it 100% clear that I would only take my Trump profits into USDC. And it also made me move a significant percentage of my portfolio into Bitcoin. So I really do think that the effects of this token are greater than most people think. I don't like playing the blame game, but in terms of an event that I can point to that really damaged altcoins, because if you actually take a look at this price action, like look, this is almost fully retraced its entire rally. I would point towards this as being something that accelerated that happening, because by now we should have at least gotten a significant rally or a bounce, but we haven't even gotten that. And this happened 11 days ago. It feels like a lifetime ago now, but the effects of it are really starting to show up now. And on a separate note about this cycle, it really does feel like this was not a holder cycle, but a trader cycle. You had to be constantly taking profits, moving in and out of different narratives. There's a very few coins I can think of from back in January 2024 that kept pace with Bitcoin till now. Even Solana, think about the insane level of adoption this got throughout 2024. Even recently, the president launched a meme coin, and look at the Sol BTC chart. It's basically not even visible. For a full year, it's done nothing against Bitcoin. If that doesn't sum up what this cycle has been like in a nutshell, I don't know what does. Now the question is it going to be like this for the rest of the cycle? Or will we finally get that long-awaited Altseason where everything is flying and you're making so much money you don't know what to do with it? After reflecting upon this cycle, I believe I've come up with a strategy that makes it so even if we don't get a mega Altseason, it's still possible to succeed. And if we do get the mega Altseason, it won't leave you sidelined. So I'm going to release that video on my plan to play the rest of this cycle tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Now I'm going purely off sentiment and the fact that a lot of people's portfolios and a lot of coins are actually returning to their 2024 summer range. I would say the bottom is very close. There's always a limit to how bad things can get before sellers get completely exhausted, but it's going to depend on this in a bit. Back to how you're feeling right now. Take that emotion and double it. That's how the rest of the market is feeling, and it's being baked into the prices right now. But on the other hand, I do have some slight bad news. There are other signals I'd like to see that are not showing up that typically indicate to me that a major bottom is taking place. If you come over to this website and scroll to the bottom, you can find this really important chart. Typical major bottoms usually coincide with the altcoin open interest dominance reaching 26% to 30% on this chart. And it's still at 34% right now. So either it hasn't updated yet, or people are still trying to long altcoins on leverage, which is really bad because it's going to set us up for another leg lower. To wipe that out and bring the altcoin open interest dominance back to the bottom ranges of 26 to 30% so we can start another fresh leg up. If you follow me on X, I'll keep you updated on this specific chart. It really is one of the best tools I found that can mark significant high time frame bottoms. The final thing I'm going to say is that's really important. A lot of YouTubers will make videos today and parrot the same things. Guys, don't worry, just DC it in. Everything's going to be fine. We'll get a mega Altseason that's going to make us all rich and give us all 20 to 30x gains. But it's really easy for them to be so zen about the market when they're already rich, right? They don't really understand what you're going through. As I showed with my example, there's no doubt that altcoin holders have been through a lot of pain. It's been almost a full year and a lot of people have nothing to show for it. Or they do have gains, but it hasn't been worth the amount of suffering and pain it's taken. But you do need to stay optimistic. The last thing you want to do right now is destroy yourself. And the way people do that is they get so caught up in their feelings regarding their losses, they start leverage trading to try and make it back, or they start buying some really risky altcoins. and then they lose all of their money doing that, and then the market goes back up, which it will do, by the way, and we get some really good gains, and they're going to miss out on the entire thing. So the last thing you want to do is compound any errors. I've never made a good decision in crypto based on negative emotions. And right now, what you're going to find is everyone's going to try and FUD you out. The number one FUD right now is, what if Bitcoin goes back to the 70k region? Imagine what's going to happen to your altcoins. The majority of you hold altcoins that have survivability. That means they're not some 50 million market cap Solana shitcoin that's based on a recent trend and it's going to bleed to zero forever. It's more likely they'll be able to go back up in line with the rest of the market. There's also going to be people adding fuel to the fire. This got me a lot in 2023 and I ended up burning myself out because I was working too hard. They would say things like, the next 2 years are your last chance to ever make it. It's the last cycle. You'll never be able to make money again. There's always going to be another cycle. And just circling back to what I said regarding Altseasons, people saying there will never be an Altseason again are basically idiots, because if you're saying that, you're basically saying people will never get greedy again and they'll never try and make money again. And look, take it from me, this current moment in time for this cycle has been the most difficult and testing period because of the context. I've been locked into this cycle since January of 2023. If you had told me around here that the market would be like this when Bitcoin is at 100k, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said that altcoins would be in a mania phase if Bitcoin was at 100k. So don't blame yourself, don't be too harsh on yourself. Today's video was just me having a conversation with you. Tomorrow's video will be about action, so make sure you don't miss that one. Thanks for watching.